Morning San Diego.
And I'm there. All right, Prop 65 is in the midst of being reformed because it's all about lawsuit abuse, according to Assemblyman Jones. He is here to explain what is going on, what the prop is in the first place. Good morning to you.
Right, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
So Prop 65 has been around for nearly 20 years,
right,
and
yeah,
voters did approve it.
It was a proposition approved by the voters several years ago. Right.
So tell us about what is it? What is its intent?
Well, most of your viewers will be somewhat familiar with it. Whenever you walk into a retail establishment or any business that allows the public access, there's always a little plaque on the door that says there's chemicals known to the state of California on these premises that will either cause reproductive harm or could cause cancer. And that's a state requirement that every building that has public access have that posted.
In your mind, this is just a bad deal all the way around?
Well, I call it the Plaintiff's Attorneys Full Employment Act because the proposition was originally written by trial and plaintiff's attorneys because they found a way to sue businesses that are making an honest living for not having this display on there correctly.
This is in comparison with the Disabilities Act. Same sort of deal when attorneys go after small businesses.
It's exactly the same type of operation.
So what is going on? What's happening?
Well, last year we were able to exempt businesses with 10 or fewer employees from this act. And that passed and was signed by the governor.
Because what was happening? What were the lawyers doing?
Well, the attorneys would, go around, go door to door to these small companies. Most of them are mom and pop shops. They might have 1 or 2 employees.
Right.
They're not making a lot of money, and they'd send them a letter because it's a private right of action. Anybody can sue on behalf of the state of California, and so you send a letter to the owner of the business and saying, hey, I noticed you didn't have this notification, you're violating Prop 65, but if you send me $2,000 or $5,000, I'll go away and forget that it ever happened. If you don't send me the money, I'll turn you into the district attorney's office or the attorney general's office, and they'll come and do an enforcement action.
It's legal extortion.
It's exactly what it is. That's it. And it's one of several instances of California where that's the case. And this is one. I'm working with Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse here in California to get this reformed.
Okay, so I interrupted you. Last year, you were able to get this thing passed for the very small mom and pop.
Right. And so this year we're going to take it to the next step, and we're trying to exempt employers that have 10 to 25 employees.
Do you expect to get flack for that? I mean, it sounds like a no-brainer, but obviously there's a very strong influence in Sacramento.
Dave, you've had me on enough times to know that nothing that makes sense usually happens in Sacramento, right? So we've already been told by the chairman of the committee that it doesn't have a chance to get out of its first committee. We're going to keep working on it. We think that there's some other reasonable people on that committee that could be persuaded to vote for it.
Why?
But yeah, it won't be a cakewalk.
Okay, on the flip side, I mean, what are they saying why it's important? Not to do with the attorneys at all, but why is it important to have that plaque on your front door?
Well, I have to take exception to your question because it's all about the trial attorneys. That's the main lobby group that's against this bill, and they have a lot of control and power up there in Sacramento.
All right, so when are you going to do this? What's your timetable?
Next week. It comes up to committee next week.
Okay.
So
report back to us, would you?
I will do that. Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right.